Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. So last week in verses 18 and 19, we saw that someone who identifies with the body is going to experience the limitations of space and time. Whereas a jnani, his vision is that I am that consciousness which is in the heart, illumining everything, including the body and everything. The next set of verses that we are going to see are another set of important verses. To arrive at that advaitam, that I am that consciousness, the non-dual reality. Vedanta negates all duality. Every second thing it's going to negate. Without that negation, we cannot arrive at the non-dual. All the limitations will go away only if we arrive at the non-dual. As long as there is duality, there will be limitations. I will be limited by the world. I will be limited by space and time. And this happens as long as that subject-object duality is there. There will be mortality, there will be fear, there will be samsara. In Ishavasya Upanishad, the word used was jugupsa. It was said, tatona vijugupsate. Then there is no more insecurity. So if samsara must go away, the insecurity must go away, mortality must go away, limitation must go away. All the subject-object duality must go away. So for that, jagat nisheda, negating the world, is a necessary condition for that moksha prapti. Only then there will be no second thing, and I, the subject alone, will be there. You are familiar with this example. When a dog looks at a mirror, it thinks there is another dog and barks at it. When it does that, the other dog, which is really not there, that barks. And the first dog thinks it is real, sees it barking, and gets more excited. We are all like that, poor dog, when we look at the world and give reality to it. You experience the world, but you have to falsify it. Vishvam darpana dṛśyamana nagari tulyam nijantargatam. We saw that in Dakshinamurti Stotra. We have to negate the world. Negation of the world is not the negation of the experience of the world. You just need to know that the world does not have absolute reality. We say the world has a lesser degree of reality, that's all. The world includes everything, the external objects, our own body, our own mind, everything. I, the Atma, the consciousness, illumine all the three. I am of a higher degree of reality. This understanding is what we call by negation of the world. The knowledge is a negation of the world. The knowledge of the paramarthika satyam is what is important, the absolute reality. Ramana Maharshi points out that the negation of the world is the only understanding. So let us read verse number 20. Ajñasya vijñasya viśvamasti. Ajñasya vijñasya cha viśvamasti. Pūrvasya dṛśyaṁ jagadeva satyam. Pūrvasya dṛśyaṁ jagadeva satyam. Parasya dṛśyāśraya-bhūtamekam. parasya dṛśyāśraya-bhūtamekam satyam prapūrṇaṁ pravibhātyarūpam satyam prapūrṇaṁ pravibhātyarūpam. So Bhagavan says, ajñasya viśvamasti. Ajña, the ignorant person perceives the world. Viśvamasti, he says the world is. Okay. Then vijñasya cha, the wise person also. Viśvamasti, the perception of the world is there for the jnani also. And then you may argue, when the wise man is in nirvikalpa samadhi, the world is not there. True. It is also true when the ignorant man is in deep sleep, he does not perceive the world. Okay. So perception or non-perception of the world is not the issue. When the ignorant comes out of sleep and when the wise man comes out of samadhi, both of them are going to perceive the world. But what is the difference? So he says, pūrvasya for the first one. Ajñasya, that was said first. So the first one, ajñasya, ignorant person. Dṛśyāṁ jagadeva satyam. The perceived world alone is the reality. The ignorant man takes the world to be absolutely real. The world is seen as real for him. He takes everything at its face value. See, the word for animal in Sanskrita is pashu. Pashyati iti pashuhu, that which sees. An animal just sees, does not think about it. So also an ignorant man. Whatever he sees, that is it. That is real. There is no more reality beyond that. He doesn't inquire into anymore anything higher. He sees the sunrise and sunset, says sun rises and the sun sets. He sees the earth is flat and says the earth is flat. Millions of people said that till that was proved wrong. So the ignorant man will ask, what is there to think about it? So he takes unreal as real, and then you lose sight of the real. The illusory dream is very real while you are in the dream. And not knowing that you are the waker projecting the dream, you are in the dream. Similarly, for the ignorant man, jagadeva satyam, the world alone is real. So this is what happens. Parasya, for the other. For the other man, meaning for the wise man. For him, ekam dṛśyāśraya-bhūtamekam satyam. The ekam, the one consciousness alone is satyam. What you see is only forms and names. That itself is not the truth. The ashraya, the substratum, the support of all these forms and names, that is ekam, one. That alone, that is satyam, the truth. You see many ornaments and you give them various names. The names depend on the shape of the ornaments. The essence or the truth behind all those so-called ornaments is the gold. The shape is not the reality. The name that you have given to it, so not reality. But that which appears in those forms, to which you have given all these names, that which supports everything, that is real. What that ashraya, the substratum, the foundation upon which all this is playing, that you must find out. So this consciousness is dṛśyāśraya-bhūtam, the substratum of the all that is seen. This is the substratum of the inert, the objective universe. The subject consciousness is the substratum of the inert objective world. And that alone is real. That alone is satyam. It is prapūrṇaṁ, all pervading, complete. It is not limited at all by space or time. It is arūpam, formless. It is attributeless. We experience the world in various forms. And we have given so many names. But the support of all that, this world, is formless. And that alone is satyam. So the truth, the reality is nama, rupa, guna, dosha, varjitam. Varjitam, devoid, bereft of all these names, forms, qualities, virtues, vices, purity, impurity. It doesn't have any of that. And that is what I am. That consciousness, pravibhāti, illumines everything. So it was said earlier that I am that Atma that pervades the whole universe. That Atma is the very support of the world. With reference to the body, I say I am the illuminator of the world. With reference to the world, I am the supporter of the world. This I have said many times. This is how the word Atma and Brahman. Brahman, when we say, that is the term used as the supporter of the world. Atman, the illuminator, the consciousness that illumines. And both of them is one and the same. So the world is not something different from me, independent of me. So Ramana Maharshi indirectly says the perceived world is mithya. That perceived world is common to the jnani and the ajñani. Both of them see that. Both of them are seeing all the various forms and all the names that go with that. Both jnani and ajñani perceive the world. The experience is not different. As I said, a dog looks at the mirror. You and I look at the mirror. Both the dog and you and I see the reflection. But understanding is different. The dog gives reality to the reflection. And you and I look at the reflection and see it only as a reflection. So, we are not afraid of the reflection. The dog, on the other hand, has given reality to it and then reacts to it. So fear always comes from the other. The dog is seeing another dog in the mirror. There is fear. So in Taittiriya Upanishad, we have studied Yeda he vaisha etasmin adrishye anirukte anilayane abhayam pratishtam vindate ataso bhayangato bhavati yada he vaishaye tasmin udaramantaram urute atatasya bhayam bhavati. So always when you abide in that one infinite reality, you become fearless. As long as the second thing is there, you are wrought with fear. So the two previous verses should be taken together, and the essence is that there is no difference between a jnani and ajnani with regard to the experience of his own body or the world. The experience will be in the form of limited self, and the world experience will be in the form of objective world. There is no difference in the way that both of them experience. The difference comes about only in the understanding. So this is only a cognitive change. Intellectual perception should change. And that cognitive change is enough for liberation. Experiential change is not required for liberation. What you experience will not change. The sunrise and sunset, you are going to see, but you know that the sun does not rise, sun does not set. And you may play along with that, right? You are waiting for the sun to rise, for the sun to warm up this world. You don't want to go out in the cold night. You are waiting for it. All that is there. You make use of it also, not a problem. But your knowledge, that is firmly rooted. So that liberation does not depend on your experience of the world. You need to have the proper understanding. If moksha is based on changing the experience, that moksha will be temporary. Knowledge is permanent. So liberation based on knowledge will be permanent. If you think that liberation can come about only when I change the world, I need to change the experience that I have with the world. No, that's not. You will continue to experience the world as it is, but the knowledge is that is all false. What is reality is this consciousness that I experience, that is illuminating me, and that consciousness which is supporting as sat the entire world. This knowledge, and that knowledge once gained will not have an end. That ignorance of that reality which has no true beginning, that has to end. And once that knowledge is gained, it will not have an end. So what we need to work for is not the experiential change. You don't want to change the experience. The world will continue to be what it is. But we have to work for the knowledge. So this is the conclusion. Verse 20th verse is the conclusion of verses 18 and 19. Now, the next verse deals with another important but totally different topic. Okay. As I said, this text Saddarsanam is 40 different ways to gain that experience of that reality. So to some extent, one verse does not flow into the other. Some of them are connected, like the 18, 19, and 20 together can be taken as one thought. But now the 21, something different. But very interesting also, very illuminating also. So let us read. Vidheḥ prayatnasya ca kopi vādaḥ vidheḥ prayatnasya prayatnasya cha kopi vādaḥ tayordvayormūlamajānatāṁ syāt tayordvayormūlamajānatāṁ syāt vidheḥ prayatnasya cha mūlavastu vidheḥ prayatnasya cha mūlavastu sañjānatāṁ naiva vidhirna yatnaḥ sañjānatāṁ naiva vidhirna yatnaḥ. The universal debate on vidhi, fate, or prayatna, free will. This is an eternal topic. The debate whether there is destiny or free will. There are some who say there is no such thing called free will at all. Then there are others who accept both, but eternally debate which one controls what. One person will argue free will, self-effort. That alone determines my fate. I create my own destiny. Free will is more powerful. The opposing view is that, no doubt, free will and self-effort does not control future, but the present free will itself is controlled by your past fate. Another counter argument will be the past fate was a product of free will prior to that. So you can readily see that this is a never-ending argument. So therefore, Ramana Maharshi says, vidheḥ prayatnasya cha vādaḥ, the debate, the argument with regard to vidhi, fate, or prayatna, effort. It is inconclusive. Therefore, never get into the debate. He says, only a fool will engage in such debate. Tayoho dvayoho mūlam ajñanatāṁ syāt. Only ajñanatāṁ, only among ignorant people, this vādaḥ, this debate is there. There will be such a debate, whether there is destiny or free will. Therefore, whoever enters into such arguments, he is an ignorant person. They are ignorant of tayoho dvayoho mūlam. They do not know the root of both of them, the adhisthana of both vidhi and prayatna, fate and free will. The substratum is Atma, the truth. Only the one who is ignorant of Atma, which is a substratum of both fate and free will enter into such arguments, such debates about them. Once a person knows the adhisthana, the support of both of them, the debate will end. The debate ends because he will know both are mithya. A debate will be conclusive in any mithya field. That is why mithya illusion is called anirvachaniyam. If you get into an inquiry of a mithya vastu, you will have problems. A detailed discussion on this topic we will find when we study Mandukya. The third chapter of Mandukya Karika, wherein Gaudapadacharya enters into this Karya Karana Vichara, whether Janma produces karma or karma produces Janma. So stay tuned. Because after Saddarshanam, we're going to take up Mandukya. So he says the whole thing is mithya and so anirvachaneyam. If anyone enters into such debate, it will not be a final. It will be non-final, inconclusive debate only. Once a person gains the knowledge for a wise person, Ramana Maharshi says, from that standpoint, there is no creation at all. From the wise person's standpoint, no creation, no duality, there is no cause, no effect, no janma, no karma. So an ignorant person goes on discussing all this. It's all a futile argument, discussion. The wise one sees no need for any of this discussion. Wise man does not enter into this discussion at all. A side point here, even though the fate free will debate is inconclusive, there should be a working arrangement for sadhaka. What should he give importance? Where should my focus be? This will be determined by my view of life, my philosophy of life. It will depend on the moksha that I want to accomplish. If one follows Vishishtadvaita or Dvaita, the concept of moksha is discovering that I am eternally dependent on God. They ascertain that you are never free. That is only one free principle, and that is God. He alone is Swatantra, and we are all Paratantra. He is independent, I am dependent on, and moksha is recognizing that I am under the control of God. I am dependent on God. I am the dasaha, servant. This notion is moksha under such philosophy. Naturally, in those philosophies, free will has no place. I use a different terminology. Whatever one calls fate, I call it his will. Instead of depending on other things, I become completely dependent on God. Serving him and enjoying such service is moksha. In Advaita philosophy, I hold myself responsible for my vidhi. I am the cause of my karma phala. I am in charge of my future. I take responsibility for everything. With the right understanding, I can claim I am Brahman. I say, Mayyeva sakalam jatam, Mayi sarvam pratishtitam, Mayi sarvam yati. Everything is born out of me. Everything is supported by me, rests in me. I am not a dasa or servant or anything, but I am the Swami, master. The world depends on me. I do not depend on the world. So clearly in Advaita, the emphasis is on free will. So what Bhagavan says here is, vidheḥ prayatnasya cha vidhi, that is karma phalam, and prayatna, the karma, the effort or free will, kopi vādaḥ, any debate, syāt, will continue only among ajñanatāṁ. Only the ignorant people will indulge. Once those who do not know what tayordvayormūlamajānatāṁ, the mūlam, the root, the origin of both, only they will debate. So how should you understand the word mūlam? It represents the past I. Vidhi is my fate, and that is the result of my past action. Those are the actions done by the past I, either I of prior births or earlier portion of my current birth. Prayatna should be understood as the present I. So vidhi and prayatna are just two words that represents the path and the past and the present I, respectively. So this means it's only a timing difference, that's all. That time connected I is the ahankara I. So that refers to the karta, bhokta, ahankara. All this discussion is there because one does not know the moolam of that ahankara. That moolam, the origin of that, the foundation of that, support of that is the timeless I, the Atma. And that is what I am. So all this debate is on this ahankara. This is there only for the people who are ignorant of that adhisthana, of that ahankara, which is Atma, which is me. So the moment the Moola Atma is discovered, this ahankara will go away. All those discussions that took place in the dream, suppose you had a dream, and in that dream, so many debates and arguments were going on. All that will become meaningless when you wake up. Similarly, the mūlavastu, sañjānatāṁ, for those who clearly know the mūlavastu, the adhisthana Atma, those who know the timeless Atma, for them, naiva vidheḥ, there is no past at all. There is no time at all. To understand this, you go back to the discussion we had in the 17th verse, how we analyze past, present, and finally decided there is only the present. Past is not there, future is not there. This instant, this moment, that is all. And I alone am there, free of the past, present, and future. This is the idea you should remember. Sañjānatāṁ, for the wise people, naiva vidheḥ, there is neither the past, there is no bhokta, na yatnaḥ, not the present I. Someone who is trying, nothing, no free will, no karma, no karta. So essence of this verse is, do not enter into this debate, fate or free will. Get the vision of the truth. And that is Saddarsanam. So unnecessarily don't get into this argument about fate and free will. And it never can be resolved because it is all coming from that ahankara, the basis from which you are entering into that debate. That itself is baseless. What you need to do is to get that vision, get Saddarshanam. And in the next verse, Ramana Maharshi condenses the entire Upanishadic teaching. The verse that we're going to see is the essence of Kena and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. In the Upanishads, it is said, whatever you experience is not the absolute reality. Whatever is perceived, seen, it is not the absolute reality. It is only a relative reality. It is mithya. Then what is the absolute reality? It is the observer, the consciousness, the Chaitanyam alone is the absolute reality. What is observed, what is perceived, that is mithya. This is repeatedly emphasized in the Upanishad. When you analyze from that standpoint, the entire world is mithya. The physical body also, you are observing. It is observed, it is experienced, therefore mithya. My own mind is an object of my experience. It's observed by me. I talk about my mental condition. happy, sad, jealous, kind, cruel, so on and so forth. So the world is mithya, BMI, body, mind, intellect, everything is mithya. Then comes the crucial question, what about God? Does God come under mithya or satyam category? Very critical question for a bhakta especially. A devotee who has been worshipping God has made such an emotional investment in the Lord. The Upanishad says, I do not want to answer the question, but you yourself can find out and answer based on the criterion that I've given. The criterion is whatever is observed is mithya. The observer consciousness alone is absolutely real. So ask yourself, what do you understand by the word God? You tell me what you mean by God. Then I can tell you whether God is satyam or mithya. Suppose a person says, God is someone who is and can be experienced. I can experience that God. Then God becomes an object. It becomes an object of experience. And therefore, anatma mithya. A devotee will be deeply disturbed by that. But Upanishad is very clear. If you are a seeker of truth, emotions have no place. Seeking truth means set aside all emotions, all prejudices, all biases, all likes and dislikes aside. Kenopanishad very clearly said, Yad vachana yuditam yena vag abhyudite tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yaditam upasate yanmanasa na manute yenahur manomatam tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yaditam upasate. Repeatedly says, whatever you objectify, it is not absolute reality. Therefore, objective God is mithya. The absolute real God has to be discovered only in one way. Apply the same criteria. When I identify God as Chaitanyam, as ever the consciousness, Atma, the experiencer, never the Anatma, never the experience. When God is understood as Aham Asmi, ever the subject, never the object. Atma Abhinna Ishvaraha is the real God. So Ishvara Darshanam as an object is unreal. Ishvara Darshanam as the subject is real. So this is the essence of the words that we are going to see now. Ishvara Darshanam is Atma Darshanam, and that is Saddarshanam. So let us read verse number 22. Yadīśiturvīkṣaṇamīkṣitāram yadīśiturvīkṣaṇamīkṣitāram avīkṣya tanmānasikekṣaṇaṁ syāt avīkṣya tanmānasikekṣaṇaṁ syāt na drashturanya paramohitasya na drashturanya paramohitasya vikshasvamule praviliya nishtha Viksha swamule praviliya nishta. So Bhagavan says, Ikshitaram avīkṣya, not recognizing avīkṣya, not recognizing or ignoring or discounting ikshitaram. Ikshitaram, I, the observer, one who sees, atma, ishituhu vikṣaṇam, gaining an Ishvara darshanam as an object. And anatma, such a God vision, Ramana Maharshi ruthlessly says, tat mānasikekṣaṇaṁ syāt. That mānasikekṣaṇaṁ, it is only a mental projection. They are all mithya only. It is not real Ishvara darshanam. However wonderful the God may look like, however long the darshanam lasts, however fantastic that experience is, it is all manasika ikshanam. Just a mental projection. Literally means pratibhātika satya only. At best, we can say it is vyavaharika satya. Maybe God took a form for your sake. Pratibhātika satya. God might appear in front of you. Even that Lord is only a transaction. It is an object of experience. It is anatma. It is mithya. Please be careful. We are not saying you cannot have such experience. If a devotee comes and tells you, I had this experience, okay? We are not going to say, bah humbug. No. You can. Great devotees have had such experiences. If God is pleased with your devotion, who can stop him in blessing you with that? That is what you sought. And you worked at it. The Lord is pleased and gives you darshan. Not a problem. That is great. But the point is, do not stop with that. Continue your spiritual journey. That is the point. Why does Ramana Maharshi conclude this way? The reason is, drashtuhu anyah paramaha hi nasti. There is no real Ishvara other than the observer. I, the Atma. Paramaha means paramartika satya Ishvaraha. Absolutely real God. There is no other God other than the drashta, the observer, the seer. Chaitanyam, the Atma. For a beginner, this sounds terrible, blasphemous, egoistic. But Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi is very emphatic, unapologetic in this statement. There is a heavy influence of Mandukya Karika in Saddarshanam. That is why I am taking all these texts in this kind of a sequence. So I said, we're going to follow Saddarshanam with study of Mandukya. Upanishad never accepts duality, even for God. The only concession it makes is, okay, you keep it for some time. while you prepare yourself for the absolute truth. You will be free only when you discover Aham Brahma Asmi. Till that time you will be bound. So the Advaitin says, Soham, Saha, Aham, that is me. The Dvaitin may modify it and say, Dasoham. But we will add a prefix and say, Sadasoham. Not Dasoham, Sadasoham. I am ever that. Are you all enjoying this? You sure? That is how beautiful it is. So the last question is, if I am to have the darshanam of the real God, I must have darshanam of Atma, that Chaitanya. So how to have the Atma darshanam? So Ramana Maharshi says the very question is wrong. Therefore, Atma darshanam is abiding in the knowledge that I am the Atma. Tasya viksha swamule praviliya nishtha. Atma darshanam is abidance in Atma. Swamule. Mula means swarupa. Abiding in your own essential nature. Praviliya, having resolved the triputi, resolving the observer, observed division, abiding in the divisionless Atma, with the knowledge I am that, is called Atma Darshanam. This only is Ishva Darshanam. You have seen this. Bhagavan has said this in Upadesha Sara. Isha Darshanam Swatma Rupatah. The vision of Isha is abiding in Swa Atma. It has to be experienced as one's own self. So, Advaita Jnana Nishtha is Saddarshanam. That is the point that is made in this verse. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Pūrvasya Pūrnamadaya Pūrnameva Vashishyate. Om Shante Shante Shante. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.